On this episode of Untitled, we're going to talk about Rosalie Haizlett.
Rosalie is from the northern panhandle of West Virginia, but if you follow her on her social media channels, you probably can't tell where she's from because she spends most of her time traveling all over the world.
That is true. Her Instagram feed is quite entertaining, and this past summer, I think, or late fall, she was in Jordan, and that's when I first got to really kind of know her on Instagram.
During her studies when she was in college at West Liberty and shortly thereafter, she traveled to France and Cyprus and South Korea. But some of her domestic travels are what really interest me. In 2018, this summer, she spent 6 weeks as the artist in residence, one of 6, at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And I just thought that was absolutely the coolest thing ever. She spent her time leading hikes and workshops and illustrating all of the critters and flora, fauna that she found in the park. And it was just pure entertainment to watch her live this day in and day out on her Instagram channel.
So we first met Rosalie when we went to a show that she had at Taylor Books in Charleston. And the reason that it came to our attention that she was going to be having a show there was because her theme was mushrooms, something very near and dear to our hearts.
We are definitely big mycophiles. We do love mushrooms, and it was so exciting to see that she was illustrating a lot of the different varieties of mushrooms that you can find in West Virginia. We actually purchased one of those paintings from her, and that was of a morel mushroom. Some people call morels molly moochers. Some people call them land trout. What are some other names for?
Oh gosh, myrtles is the one that I grew up with.
Right.
But we love them. We love all kinds of mushrooms. And this painting of the morel is a watercolor that she had at that show. And we just fell in love with it, and we took it home, and now it has a special place in Quinnamon at Lafayette Flats.
I want to mention, too, Rosalie's use of watercolors. I lived most of my life thinking that watercolors were a little bit dull. It definitely was not my favorite medium. Just because I never really saw the vibrancy that I like in a lot of paintings. But I do see it in Rosalie's work. She paints extremely vibrant artwork, and it's amazing to me sometimes that she's able to get those colors from watercolors.
The paintings that she did in the Smoky Mountains, she did a lot of those on Instagram, like live, while she was had an Instagram feed going while she was painting them. And you could really tell that she was capturing the colors that were actually there in the landscape. And like you, I've always thought of watercolors as being subdued, but they really do pop.
She also made her own ink out of black walnuts. And of course, any West Virginian knows that black walnuts have an extremely strong dye. They'll dye your fingers black if you handle them too much. But she actually distilled it and made an ink out of it and painted just a beautiful painting of a black walnut tree. Another really interesting thing about Rosalie is that in 2016, the Tamarack Foundation for the Arts awarded her an Emerging Artists Fellowship. It was another just fascinating thing that she was involved in, where she and another artist traveled around the state of West Virginia and visited, I think it was 6 or 7 different communities that are really engaged in arts, and saw kind of what made them tick and brought that back and kind of reported it in the form of an art show. I thought that was a great program. I was really impressed that she was involved in it, and I was kind of sad to see that the Tamarack Foundation hasn't continued with that fellowship. It was such a great idea and a way to really expose people to emerging West Virginia artists. I hope one day that comes back.
So as you might be able to see, we're kind of kindred spirits with Rosalie, and she's done a lot to promote art in West Virginia. And of course, that's what Untitled is about, and it's what we do a lot at Lafayette Flats. So we're really excited that Rosalie is going to be our creative in residence this winter at Lafayette Flats. She'll be arriving in Fayetteville in mid-February and staying with us through mid-March, and she'll be doing a couple of workshops at the New River Gorge National River, and we're super excited about this.
So we invite you guys to come up, and I think that'll do it for this episode of Untitled.